We are fortunate to have a variety of speakers for Sunday services. Ooh. By using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. This is a church where you can worship the God of your own understanding, a place to experience joy and be uplifted, a place where we can gain strength and inspiration to share with all we meet throughout the week. We invite you to join us in the celebration of life, to nourish your spirit, and to enjoy the company of kindred souls.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
You'll have to famous this yourself. All right, so at this point, grab your little white card or the book number 3 in Wings of Song, and we're going to sing our opening hymn, which is Let There Be Peace on Earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Would you like to do an opening prayer, please?
On this beautiful day, when we all gather here as a spiritual community, as a community of those who have an open heart and mind, may we all this day bring blessings of spiritual practice that multiply and bring benefit to all beings.
All right, so at this time we have a hymn to sing. Looks like number 211, which is The Oneness. I love this song. Hold on. There we go. All righty then. Well, welcome again, everybody, at this lovely, beautiful Sunday morning. Not quite as hot as yesterday, but it's lovely. I like this kind of weather. I like being able to wear sweaters, don't you? Okay. All right, well, my name is Sue Brewer. I'm the president of the Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church Board of Trustees, and our speaker today is Robert Aho. Robert has a very important message for us today. It's pronounced Rimé. Rimé. Okay, I'm close. Sorry. Rimé, integrating non-sectarian spiritual practices. And we'll learn more about that very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. The other announcements that we have on the board today are, of course, Monday Unity is at 6 o'clock in the library on Monday nights. They're reading Mary Magdalene Revealed. How far are you in there? You're almost done with that? Oh, you are done with that. Okay, so you haven't picked out a new book yet? Okay, so they're going to pick out a new book on Monday night, right? Okay. Tuesday has the Law of Attraction group usually meets at 1 o'clock, but they're on hiatus for the summer. But if you have any questions about the Law of Attraction or Abraham or any of those kinds of things, you can always give Sue a call, Sue Hall a call, and her phone number is in our email, our weekly email, and then you can set up a time to meet with her at a little coffee shop or wherever you're comfortable to talk about that. I know one other thing. I know the lawn looks atrocious. I know. We've been working on this, okay? Jeff Hymas used to mow our lawn, but we all know, unfortunately, he is no longer with us in person. But I have asked around different people who have done it in the past, and they're not available at this time. Robert offered his son-in-law as a sacrifice, as a possible mower of our lawn. And he got back to me, but he's on vacation right now, so he can't do it right now. And in the past, we had Hobbs from Garden Magic come and mow our lawn. So I contacted him, and he will be talking to me on Monday about the possibility of getting it done. We don't know if we want to set up a schedule with anybody yet. We haven't gotten any quotes yet, so we'll get back to you on that. So keep your eye open, and if there's another option, let me know, okay? And I know that it looks unwieldy right now, but we'll get back to it. We will get to it. All right, and don't forget, now Pam is downstairs today, and she's going to be doing readings today, so if you want to meet with her for a few minutes, she'll be there. Now, are there any other announcements that anybody else? Okay. The next announcement is next week is Lisa Siri. Lisa Siri will be speaking about evolution from detachment to presence. So we will be looking forward to that for next week. All right. At this moment, let us read our principles. You'll find those on the white card. All right, so we believe God is the eternal source and creator of all and is present in everything. Our eternal soul, endowed with free will, grows through many lifetimes. Communication occurs between the physical and spiritual worlds. Prayer and meditation strengthen our connection to the divine. All healing comes from Source. Seeking this for ourselves and compassion for others' suffering is the highest priority. Because we are all one, what we do unto others, we do unto ourselves. The choice of love is always open for every soul. Living these principles leads us to grow in divine love. So at this time, in the back on the other side of this white card is a prayer for spiritual healing. So let's read that together. And if somebody could bring the healing bowl from the back of the room up to our table while we're doing that, that would be great. I ask the unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask the great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. We put our trust in the love and power of God. So at this moment, we want to get some personal healing prayers requests. I know there are a bunch of people out there who need our help and our strength in helping them to heal. Does anybody have any personal requests? Yes, I know you do.
Yeah, for our nephew.
Over here, Jean, come on. Bring that all the way up here, Jer, and put it on the table for us.
For our nephew, John Areth, he was Jerry's sister's son. He ended his life. He was 62, and I feel real bad about that. So he needs our prayers.
As well as his family.
As his family.
As well as his family, yes, indeed. Well, as always, prayers for Carolyn Sheets so she can continue to recover.
Barbara With Online asks for prayers for Carmen, who is healing from breast cancer.
Request prayers for my Aunt Betty. She's doing much better, but she's still struggling. And also my dog Ilsa is still hanging in there and really struggling. So thank you.
Speaking of pets, my eldest cat is slowing down. She's over 20, so, the fact that she's still with me is a blessing, but prayers for her as well. Her name is Shanti. I know there are a multitude of prayers out there that need our help. Thus, the healing bowl. If you have other intentions or healing requests, you can always put them in there on a little piece of paper, or you can put them in by intention alone. They will be prayed for. It is a 24/7 vibrating bowl. And speaking of vibrating bowls, Robert will now play the singing bowl for the healing, and then we will sing in the silence. And then Robert will do a meditation for us.
Other one. I think I know how to do this by now. No. Can you hear me? Okay, that's probably fine. So let's just for a moment do a little healing meditation. Think about all the people in our healing bowl, all of the intentions of those in our lives, those who need help. Think about that. Just think about their suffering. Think about how we all suffer. Just look at that. And see that pain and that suffering. And realize that your heart center is very bright. This is your mind. This is your real nature. This is your enlightenment mind. This is that bright oneness that we talk about, that our first hymn was about. So see that pain, that suffering, that illness, and breathe that in. But transform that with your own enlightenment mind, your own brightness, your own timeless luminosity. And when you breathe out, it's transformed. Replace that. So all the suffering, you're breathing in, but you're replacing that with this bright light, this healing light, this ultimate wisdom. This enlightenment mind is healing us. This oneness is healing us. You breathe in the suffering. It incinerates that suffering, and you replace it with this tremendous healing. We all have the potential to heal. We all have the potential to transform whatever suffering anyone is having. We just need to realize that. So you breathe in that suffering, and with great compassion, you transform that into this bright, bright light. You breathe in the suffering, and it's incinerated instantly, and you replace it. You take away the suffering and you give healing. And it is this bright, bright condition. And we keep doing that. And when you do this, don't forget about your own suffering. Incinerate that as well and replace that with this bright light. This is the bright, bright natural condition that we all share. And you can utilize that for infinite potentiality to heal the world, to heal anyone and everyone. This is a very powerful practice that you can do. It's called Tonglen. And it truly shows results when you look into this practice. brings great benefit to all beings.
Is this okay here?
Oh, sure. Wow, thank you. Wow, how beautiful. Thank you. All right. I'll just go into my talk. Okay, so that's one of these practices that I've been doing for many years, and people say they feel better, at least while I'm doing that practice of Tonglen, and others have reported the same kind of results. And it's not really magical thinking. It's something where we're working with energy and intention, and the more you practice that, the more you will see results. It's amazing what can happen. So my topic today is Rimé, which is not something that very many people are familiar with. It's a sort of a philosophy that was developed in Tibet at a time when there was a lot of infighting between different sectarian interests. A lot of these different schools in Tibet, among Tibetan Buddhists, were sort of fighting. And this one was saying this one was right and that one was right, and they're arguing over fine points and different methodologies and different, this one said they owned this practice and that one had that practice, and a lot of territorial kind of things going on, a lot of fighting. And you don't expect that among Buddhists, but yeah, Buddhists are human. And even though when we encounter Buddhists, we generally find somebody who's quite peaceful and has the intention of helping people and being kind and all of that, we're still talking about humans. And when we start talking about institutions, schools, sectarian views, okay, now we're sort of getting into something we call spiritual materialism. And so people look for status, they want to be right and the other one wrong, just like we do when we develop our ego. So it was the Rimé movement was something that was a natural, and it really did settle people down. And now I think in Tibet or among Tibetan Buddhists, a lot of the Buddhists from Tibet are no longer in Tibet. They've had to flee. But there's more of an attitude of inclusiveness and openness to other sectarian views. So I wanted to start with a quote from my master, Namkhai Norbu, that I keep running across it. It's just so wonderful. And people sort of didn't understand his, where he came from, what was his point of view. He was a Dzogchen practitioner, like me, which is the 9th yana, or vehicle, in Buddhism, according to the Nyingma school of Buddhism. Really what it is it's not constrained to Buddhism. It predates Buddhism by quite a bit. I would say it predates the planet Earth by quite a bit, because Dzogchen is, that's your real nature. When you realize your real nature, wow, cannot even be described. Jerry and I talk about our death experience, and then you hear us laughing and saying, you can't explain this. This isn't something you can tell somebody what that is. You have to directly experience it for yourself. But I think one of the reasons you have this unusual situation with a Dzogchenpa coming to an interfaith church and sort of becoming a fixture which I think I kind of am by this point, is because I saw the magic of this community of spiritual practitioners. Carol invited me to do my first talk. I had let her know that I'd written a book, Timeless Luminosity, after my death experience, and so she invited me. And I realized immediately that we have a community of very open-hearted, very open-minded people who are receiving teachings from all these different sources, all sorts of speakers, and they all kind of point to the same thing. If you've noticed, this oneness, they kind of point to source. You know, it's not, I haven't really seen something that's been highly dogmatic from anybody. So this ministerial attraction that this community has, there is a deeper purpose in this. There is something that's very genuine that we're tapping into. This is why, so many people come here, and one of the first things they say is, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. This is incredible. This is so much different than other churches. This is not like a religion at all. It includes religions. It includes spiritual practices. And you don't have to have either one of those things happening. You just have to have an open heart and mind. And then you fit right in. So as a Dzogchen practitioner, which, by the way, usually this is, I don't think anyone really appreciates how unusual this is for me to be here, for me to have this connection with you. Because usually a Dzogchen practitioner is either, some yogi up in the mountains or at a Buddhist Dharma center, or a Gompa, which is a gathering of Dzogchen practitioners, something of that nature, right? So this, this is something that is happening, and this is why I feel so special about this place. It's happening because I saw in each of you this open-hearted approach. And I realized, based upon my Master Namkhai Narbu's teachings, that, hey, being a spiritual practitioner isn't limited to Buddhism. And in my own life, many lifetimes, I have hopped from one spiritual reality to another. I've investigated science, I've investigated shamanism, I've looked at all these different things from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. And in this lifetime, it's very, very complex, all the things that I've done. I mean, I was born into being a Lutheran. And I think I was expected to be a conservative Lutheran at that. So, which I have two fails there. So I had an open heart and mind, and I had this natural attitude of Rimé. I was open to things. So this big sidebar here. My Master Namkhai Narbu said this: from all kinds of flowers, seek teachings everywhere. Like a deer that finds a quiet place to graze, seek seclusion to digest all you have gathered. He doesn't say join this school in Buddhism. He doesn't say be a Buddhist. He doesn't say you have to follow that teacher or this teacher or even himself. He's not even talking about himself. He's saying gather these teachings, gather them from all these different sources. you gather everything. Now, the easy path is when you pick one thing and you stick to it. That's easy. That's really easy. But if you have an open heart and mind and you're gathering teachings from everywhere, that requires a special treatment, a special ability that you need to develop. Because now you have the added difficulty of you might start getting a little confused. There's a lot of things going on out there in the spiritual world. There's a lot of viewpoints. There's a lot of things that you need to decipher, and how do you utilize these things? How do you pull this together without becoming overwhelmed? So another thing I wanted to read was the Bodhisattva vows, which seems to be interference there. So a bodhisattva, just as a reminder, is somebody who lives altruistically for the benefit of all beings. Okay? You can be a bodhisattva starting immediately if you take these vows and dedicate yourself in that way. It's sometimes misunderstood that a bodhisattva is the same as a Buddha. We're all Buddhas, whether you're a bodhisattva or not. We're all sleeping Buddhas if we're not fully enlightened. But a bodhisattva is someone who is living altruistically. You've made this conscious choice to help all beings. Here, I think this was something I found from a Zen center. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. So the third vow there about entering the Dharma gates. Dharma just means teachings. It doesn't mean, it's a Buddhist word. I think it's, Dharma is a Sanskrit word meaning teachings. And it doesn't mean it has to be a Buddhist teaching. It means it has to be a teaching. And it's widely regarded that everything is a teaching. Everything. Everything. These flowers, they're a teaching. They were brought here in at the perfect time. Those are a teaching. These candles are a teaching. It's not just the words I'm telling you that are a teaching, it's everything. Everything. This is why we say in the first step in meditation, look at your own mind. You look at your own mind. Why? Because you need to see, how are you looking at things? Are you agitated? Are you calm? In order to see clearly, we need to be very calm. So, doing practices like shamatha, which we're just listening to breath, that's a natural thing to calm your mind. Then you can do other things. Being peaceful is not, that won't provide enlightenment, but it provides the foundation for enlightenment. And enlightenment is going beyond all obstacles. So, if you're the type of spiritual person who is gathering things from all these different places, you need to be at ease. You need to calm yourself. You need to immediately go to breath if you're looking at your mind and it's all agitated. And by the way, it's okay to be agitated. That's a human condition. It's what do you do with that? So you can actually train yourself to liberate that agitation immediately. That's a Dzogchen teaching. You can get angry and whoop, and then it's gone. before it even does anything, it disappears. It is like that Tonglen practice that we started with. You can transform that immediately. You can increase your potential. You can increase this bright light, this timeless luminosity that we have. You can do that immediately. But that's a spiritual practice where you're no longer reliant upon thought or beliefs or philosophies or concepts or ideas. It's a very natural thing. So discovering your real nature is something that you discover in a very simple way. And we all have that. We all have this what is often referred to as Buddha nature. We all have that. You can discover that when you discover the nature of mind. You discover this infinite potentiality. You discover this ability you have to self-liberate any affliction, anything that may be obstructing you. So that realization is realizing your enlightenment mind. So when we talk about a spiritual practitioner, so you can look at your own life. You were born into something. We all were. You were given this identity, you're from these people, you have this religion or this affiliation, you have all these different gender roles, you have political viewpoints your parents want you to adopt, or your grandparents, or somebody. And you have friends, you have a region that you live in, you have a nation, all these identities, right? And that was just given to you. That wasn't something you ever chose or examined. That you were told this is how it'll be. Well, if somebody's telling you this is how it will be, that's an obstruction. You need to examine what it is. You need to ask a lot of questions. When I was a child, when I was in confirmation at a Lutheran church nearby here, actually, I started asking a lot of questions, and it infuriated my pastor. Oh, he turned beet red. And then I said something that put him off the deep edge. I said, well, how can a question ever harm truth? Never seen him that angry. And I'm this tall, I'm just a kid. I'm just a snot-nosed kid. But I was already a spiritual practitioner. I already understood in lifetime after lifetime just what being a spiritual practitioner is. I wrote about that. This can be very confusing, this book, because I see it's fairly thick. I'm writing about not only this lifetime, but I'm writing about lifetime after lifetime. I was meditating at 3 years old, and my parents thought, what is wrong with this kid? I would wake up at 4 in the morning and I'd sit in front of the television, but I wouldn't turn the television on. And they'd come out and they'd laugh, because what is he doing? He's sitting on a cushion. I maybe took a pillow or something, and I'm sitting on the floor meditating. Or I'd sit in the front porch in the sunshine, and I'd sit cross-legged and I'd meditate. Well, this was a carryover from past lives. It's not a big deal. We all have these carryovers from past lives. And I used to have recurring dreams about how I died in my life just previous to this. That was during the Chinese invasion in the Himalayas. they dropped a bomb on me, and I remember flying through the air and being nothing but smoke and fire and char. And I had dreams about that for the first few years of my life, every night. That death, very disturbing death. But I knew how to meditate. And so I was looking at mind without anybody instructing me. Okay, I had been a Dzogchen practitioner in at least 3 previous lifetimes. And I knew how to deal with that turbulence. And I was extremely open to everybody's opinion. What my pastor didn't understand is I was fascinated in the sermon. And what he also didn't understand is by the time I was 12, I had read the Bible twice. And I could argue any point with him. And I did. And I got in trouble a lot. But, okay, so I was dealing with what was given to me. Then, when he blew up at me like that, I realized, okay, I need to keep moving. I became a seeker. And I started investigating all the churches in town, all the different religions. I started looking at philosophies. I started looking at different types of spiritual practices. In time, I started to actually practice shamanism. And it was wonderful. And then I realized, I need to control my mind. This is getting out of control. I didn't have a teacher for that either. That was also a carryover from past lifetime, at least one. And I realized I needed to deal with things in a more concrete manner. But I always came back to meditation. I was kind of famous for going camping by myself, and I would go and sit on a hill somewhere, out in the middle of nowhere, miles and miles and miles from the nearest road, by myself. I was meditating. I was still a seeker. And at some point, see, now I didn't know the first thing about Buddhism still, even in my, I don't know, how long before I learned anything about Buddhism? 30s, maybe? And when I encountered Buddhism, I went, well, that's what I wanted Christianity to be. And then I looked at Christianity with a new appreciation. I looked at the teachings of Yeshua and said, fantastic. He was teaching Buddhism, and I didn't even know what Buddhism was. He was teaching love and compassion. He was a Mahayana Buddhist, a kingly type who led so many people. I mean, you think about how warlike everyone was when Yeshua was walking the earth. And for those of you who don't know, Yeshua is the actual name that we call Jesus. But his name was Yeshua. He was teaching love and compassion. He was turning the other cheek. He was healing people. He was giving his life for everyone, whatever it took to help others. He was teaching awakening. He actually taught about reincarnation and meditation. Those are things that were sort of, the politicians at the time when the Bible was constructed, they didn't want that in there. But it's still in, like the Book of Thomas, and I think it's in the Book of Mary. You'd have to help me with that one. I haven't read it yet. But there's so much that is there. When you gather these teachings, you discover that, look, there's this, we have this sense of what that real wisdom is. How can we sense that? We sense that because there's something in our heart center that knows. It knows without conceptualizing. It knows without believing. It knows in a natural way. That's your real nature. So anybody watching this and feeling like you need to criticize me for doing a pointing out here, Garib Dorji, who's he brought Dzogchen to Tibet. He started with that. He started with Dzogchen and then said, look, back up the train. Now you need to remove your obstacles. He'd say, here's your real nature. And you get a little glimpse of it. I don't care who you are, you get a glimpse of it. You get this little flash of light that you notice when we talk about our real nature. But then you remove the obstacles and your capacity increases. Every time an obstacle is removed, this light shines brighter. It's not being held tightly by concepts and beliefs and ideas and sectarian views. So we have that. Here's how we do it. We have this hint. I just gave you a hint with this pointing out. You have this bright light. It's right here. This is where your mind is. Your mind is not in your brain. Your mind is in your heart center. And it can't be located at the same time. Your mind is part of, this is your infinite potentiality, this bright light, this oneness. And we connect to that, and it releases our infinite potentiality. And we don't need to know all the answers. We don't need to know all the details. All we really need is a Rimé attitude where we're gathering teachings and utilizing what is useful to us. Utilizing this natural wisdom that we already possess. And so when we realize that, then we realize, okay, I can look closely at things, I can conceptualize things, I can philosophize about things, but I have to also be ready to let that go, because at some point it's going to fall apart. All philosophies fall apart. You're not going to find any philosophy that is always, no matter what, true, because ultimate reality is beyond the constraints of philosophies or religions or sectarian views. So we're gathering all the Dharma, which is everything. Everything. We utilize what's most useful. And this term usefulness is what leads me to the next point, and that is, we've been a seeker. First we've been given this, then we're a seeker. Hop, hop. Hop, hop. And then we decide to become a spiritual practitioner. The hallmark of that is aspiring to awaken. So we don't stop gathering all this information. We don't stop gathering spiritual practices. Actually, what happens is we appreciate them even more. We utilize them even more. We investigate them even more. And when we've exhausted the karma on any given spiritual practice, we let it go. It's no big deal, because we are discovering ultimate reality when we go from one to the next to the next. And so you're a spiritual practitioner when you aspire to awaken. But if you aspire to awaken, don't ever let that go. If you don't ever let that go, you will be able to carry that from lifetime to lifetime until you truly awaken. And when you truly awaken, then you let all of it go. But you let all of it go, but you gain all of it at the same time. You're letting it go, but it doesn't go anywhere, because we are everywhere and everything and beyond everything. Now, with awakening, which is, I'm only talking about 4 steps here. awakening itself, that's having this total and complete awareness. I would say even appreciation. But it's not appreciation in a conceptual way. It's this appreciation of seeing spiritual practitioners and seekers and saying, oh, they need to awaken. But look at what they're doing. That's all precious. Our entire spiritual path is precious, whether we've been given it, whether it's something we've been given, whether it's something we're seeking, or whether it's something we're utilizing very methodically on a spiritual path. Then we see the beauty of that. It's a magical display. We see that there's a reason why we have discovered this practice and that practice and that practice. And so to combine them in order to awaken, we don't create more obstacles, we remove obstacles. And that can create confusion if we don't know how to remain at ease. So then you immediately, you go to breath, or you use some other method of remaining calm and peaceful, and then you can utilize very energetic practices. And this brings that realization to life. It brings all of this disparity between different schools, different teachings, different observations. Now, when we receive a new teaching from someone, we don't have to throw things away. We can simply appreciate it and add that to our infinite potentiality, our repertoire, our spiritual repertoire. We add that by remaining at ease. If you can remain at ease with a non-sectarian approach to things, when you die, it's going to be wonderful. You're not going to be disturbed by the energetic turbulence. You're not going to freak out when you see this bright light. You're going to say, been there, done that, I get it. Because you're already there as a spiritual practitioner. You haven't gone anywhere. You don't need to go anywhere. You just need to keep increasing your capacity, keep removing the obstacles. You need to look at your own life and treat it with love and compassion, and then expand that to help to also have that attitude with other people. So this is bodhicitta that's the key. We remain at ease in order to have the ground, but we have this altruistic intention of helping all beings. That's the key. Bodhicitta is the key to everything. I think I gave a talk on that a while back. Those exact words. And that's what brings it together. So this symbol here again, this is the awe symbol. That represents the nature of mind. And it's good to have a reminder. It's good to have something like that we look at and we can say, ah. When we chant that one syllable mantra, that's oneness. That's oneness. That's what you need as a Rimé practitioner. That's what you need to stabilize all of these different spiritual practices that you've learned and witnessed and are adopting in your own life. Oneness. And that's enlightenment itself. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, so at this time, could we have somebody bring forth the baskets for our offering, please? Little music on the side there. Back there somewhere. Whoops, don't forget that here. Whoops. Give us a prayer there, Jer.
Okay.
Hold on.
Ah, she's got the other one. All right, it's good. Thank you, thank you. And so, we've come together to feel the universe of spirit, the universe that is beyond everything else that there is. And so feel your heart. And a deep breath to your heart. The heart that feels your own being of light, compassion, love, peace, and joy. For all together we are in the joy of light, compassion, love, right now together. We are together.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
yes.
Together, yes.
Amen.
Amen, amen, amen.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, too.
All right, so I know we're running a little over, but let's go and sing our second hymn, which is
309, called Quiet Waters.
309, Quiet Waters. All right, so grab your little white card one more time, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll say our church affirmation. We totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church, As our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in harmony with thoughts of all members of this fellowship, we attract the right spiritual leadership and people to our spiritual community. And we are grateful. Yeehaw! Let us have a benediction from our guest speaker, Robert, here, and then we'll sing our song.
Thank you, everyone. May we all, each and every one of us, find this bright oneness in each and every moment in our lives. May we bring great benefit to all beings, great healing, great compassion in all that we do. May we go forth in this world and attain infinite potentiality. Amen.
All right, let's sing our final song, God Be With You. Even in our small little group. Thanks, everybody. I have a question for you. Now, you were talking about something that happens in my life nearly every day. And you said something about, getting angry and doing something about it and then letting it go.
Yep.
Okay, so like if I'm driving in the car and somebody pulls out in front of me and I do this number under the